Last week we clarified what the new MoneyLegos are, how they differ from the old ones and which functions are associated with them. Today we're addressing the questions: what exactly are the ways to generate profits, how do these work, what strategies exist, and how are the functions precisely interconnected, and how are the returns generated without burdening the ecosystem. So stay tuned, as this video might influence your decisions in the future. We've already explained what exactly MoneyLegos are in several other videos. Feel free to check them out again if you're interested in the topic. So let's start again with the basic questions. How exactly does the APY in MoneyLegos version 2 come about? So where do the rewards came from? USDFI's MoneyLegos version 2 are known to build on other platforms. That means USDFI utilizes existing liquidity pools from other projects for its own platform, automatically invests the tokens added to the Lego there, and manages the distribution or the liquidity and the accrued rewards. But how does all this work exactly? Any of you can invest in MoneyLegos version 2 with BNB, WBNB or the LP token itself. From the user side, nothing more needs to be done. In the background, smart contracts handle the exchange into the liquidity pool tokens required by the pool, meaning what you normally have to do, the exchange of tokens in the correct ratio, is taken care of by smart contracts for you. This allows you to incredibly comfortably, simply and most importantly, quickly invest in such a MoneyLego version 2. After your assets are invested in the platform of another project, it generates the desired rewards. These rewards are paid out to the user according to certain guidelines from the smart contract of MoneyLegos version 2. The rewards are still tokens from the respective other platform. So what happens before these rewards are paid out to you? USDFI generally first collects the rewards and sells them for BNB. This prevents loss in value of the rewards and allows for a safer continuation for the ecosystem. From there, USDFI and Stable are directly bought from the market with the received BNB, meaning for you, the earnings displayed in your dashboard are not new tokens, but existing ones from the natural market cycle. So these tokens are not inflationary, even if they are sold. For USDFI, however, this also means ongoing buying pressure and, consequently, a continuously rising price, provided no one sells. But even if someone sells, another mechanism comes into play: the Universal Banking Protocol, or UBP for short. The core of USDFI. The UBP receives a certain percentage of the rewards from MoneyLegos version 2 and uses this gained liquidity to be able to invest its own assets in the MoneyLego. Now comes the big difference compared to the normal users. The protocol never collects its rewards. It's as if the protocol itself doesn't receive any rewards. But what happens with the rewards that still occur but are not used by the protocol is simple. You, as an investor in MoneyLegos version 2, receive them. Of course, not everything, as the protocol still utilizes auto-compounding to additionally boost its own reserves. But a large portion of these rewards flows to you as users. This leads us directly to the next question. How can USDFI offer such a high APY on a pool that only distributes a specific amount of rewards? On the dashboard of MoneyLegos itself, this is actually quite evident. First, there is the LP base APR described, which is what the other project already distributes. Then we see the point current APR. This number can change at any time and is ultimately based on the current market situation. Taking the currently displayed 20% compounded APR as an example, it means that 20% of your rewards are reinvested directly back into the MoneyLego, thereby permanently increasing your own investment. In a bull market, this is naturally very pleasant, as your pool investment increases parallel to your rewards, but also in a bear market this is an essential feature for you, as auto-compounding counteracts the so-called impermanent loss. Impermanent loss is a side effect in every liquidity pool, regardless of project or platform, and describes a process where the assets you've deposited in a pool can be worth less when you withdraw them from the pool than when you put them in. This depends on the current price development of the tokens and is countered by auto-compounding, to not only be able to compensate for losses, but also, in the best case, to convert them into profits. But of course, auto-compounding is not a guarantee for this. Lastly, you see here the so-called bonus yield. We've already touched on this topic with the UBP and will come back to it later with the pools. Fundamentally, the bonus yield describes an additional reward distribution equal to the numbers displayed here directly to you as a user. But how exactly do these rewards come about? We now know that the UBP invests its own liquidity to ensure an even higher buyback and doesn't collect the rewards, so that they are distributed to you. This is an important component, and from this partly feeds the bonus yield for each of you. But only partly, because there is another feature that supports this: the liquidity pool that will be available for every MoneyLego version 2. Here, effectively, the same thing happens as in the UBP, only that you as a user can invest tokens to generate profits. The used liquidity is also deposited into the MoneyLegos and generates rewards that are distributed to all invested. How you earn money afterwards, you'll find out in another part of the video. But definitely check it out, it will surely interest you. So this is how the APY in MoneyLegos is composed, and not only optimizes the rewards for each of you, but also reduces risks like impermanent loss and others. Let's move to the next major innovation with MoneyLegos version 2. The voting. Those who have been following us for a while know that we have integrated a voting system at USDFI to increase the APR on individual pools, both for themselves and for everyone else, with a system with multiple procedures and learning opportunities. But we've also thought about how we can permanently replace simple, slow and complicated liquidity pools with a system with multiple procedures and earning opportunities. Right here, the MoneyLegos version 2. In short, it works like this. 10% of the rewards from a MoneyLego version 2 are deposited as bribes in the voting system. You can claim these assets by actively making decisions within the USDFI ecosystem and influencing the distribution of rewards with your voting rights. Of course, there's more than just a small mechanic behind this. The voting is closely tied to a certain prerequisites, meaning that to vote on a pool to earn bribes, we first need such a pool. As previously mentioned, there will be an additional liquidity pool for every new MoneyLego version 2, on which you as a user can vote against to increase your income, ultimately up to 250%. It's important to note that voting must be done for every epoch or every week starting Thursday to receive the bribes. As users, you are encouraged to actively participate in the reward distribution to earn these rewards. Now we know what the bribes are and where they come from. But how do I vote exactly? Simply put, with voting power. But how do you get this voting power? For this, you'll see a box in the upper left side of the page. With a simple click, you can choose whether you want to lock stable or USDFI. Once you've chosen one of the two tokens, it's about determining the locking period. Importantly, the longer you lock, meaning the longer you commit to the ecosystem, the more voting power you also receive. For example, if I want to lock 100 stable for 2 years, I would have a total of 15 voting power in the USDFI voting system. If I extend this period to a full 4 years, I receive the full voting power of 100 stable and thus a larger share of the bribes. If you already have voting power, you can select the pool of your choice from the list below and vote on it with your votes. It's important that you specify your distribution in percentage, not in voting power. That is, a number between 1 and 100 must be entered into this field. Your voting right will be adjusted according to the distribution. But how many bribes do I receive? Each user sees the available bribes on the respective pool, so you receive bribes proportionally to the voting power used. For instance, if I cast 50% of the votes on a pool at the end of the epoch, I also receive 50% of the bribes. Moreover, there's a possibility to persuade other users to vote on different pools by laying down bribes myself. This makes sense if, for example, you want to achieve a higher APR APR on a pool and encourage others to vote on this pool. Let's now turn to the frequently mentioned liquidity pools of MoneyLegos version 2. As previously discussed, these are essentially normal liquidity pools. The major difference is that it's not longer necessary to go through the lengthy and costly process of swapping into the correct tokens, because here too, within MoneyLego version 2, you can deposit with BNB, WBNB or the LP token itself, and you're good to go. But how is the APR determined? The rewards are determined by how many users have voted for the respective pool. The more votes, the higher the APR. If you vote again on this pool, you increase your own APR by up to 250%, depending on how much voting power you have compared to your investment. If you're unsure how much voting power you need, you can easily calculate it by clicking on the small calculator symbol above and setting the desired values. However, the rewards themselves come from the USDFI ecosystem and are distributed by the DAO, meaning a predetermined amount of stable is paid out to the pools each epoch. Depending on the voting outcome, a pool may receive more or less APR. In addition, with your investment, you can increase the liquidity in MoneyLegos version 2 itself and thus the rewards for everyone else, which promotes the so-called bonus yield. But don't think that investing in the liquidity pool isn't worthwhile, because the fewer people invested in this pool, the higher the base APR, especially if many users vote on the pool. So always keep this part in mind to maximize your income. To summarize briefly, not only do you receive a higher APR with USDFI than on other platforms, but you also minimize the risk of losing value on your tokens, thereby securing yourself even more. Moreover, you can increase your deposits by using earned rewards to build voting power and thus receive bribes that further increases these deposits. Additionally, you can invest in the approximate liquidity pool to boost your APR yourself and benefit massively from other functions. For example, if you want to reduce platform risk and diversify as broadly as possible. Thank you very much for your attention, and I wish you a great day or evening whenever you're watching this video. Yours, Benjamin.